we be pumping on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and up C quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a game. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team, and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and Becks and Jets.
Top of the morning. What's going on, sports fans? It's your guy, LJ from H-Town, Week 2, NFL, prop bets, as I do every Sunday morning during the NFL season. I give out my best prop bets for this week games. Narrowed it down to 5. I got 2 honorable mentions that I want to throw out there. But as far as that, guys, let's get right into this money. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in on the live, on the replay, whatever the case may be. And we got my man, Ixnizzle, top of the morning. Let's get it, my guy. It's time to get some money. So we in the building. We are in the building. Elijah, top of the morning to you, sir. Let's get this money. You already know. So let's get right into it. I don't want to waste any time. We're going to go to this game first. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs today. And these two teams have history. You know, they played in the AFC Championship last couple of years. And I'm keyed in on Travis Kelce over 54.5 receiving yards, simply because the last 2 AFC Championship games they played, he's had 78 yards and a touchdown. He's had 95 yards and a touchdown. And the Bengals, they've allowed 6 out of the last 9 tight ends going back to last year to hit this number at 55.5 receiving yards. So I believe Travis Kelce will be a main component of the offense today. I believe Kansas City can move the ball on the Bengals defense. And I think Kelce will be very productive, and I believe that he will get this 54.5 receiving yards, considering the history he has with this team. So that's my first honorable mention right there. My man Snizzle, what we got? Mixon anytime touchdown, Barkley touchdown, best bets against the spread is the Colts and the Texans. Hey, man, I'm loving both of those, my guy. One of those are on my list for sure. So we'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's move on to this next honorable mention right here. We have Dak Prescott over half an interception. And simply because the Saints defense gets interceptions on the road. Going back to last year, they had 9 interceptions out of the last 12 road games going back to last year. And we already know Dak Prescott is very turnover prone. He had 3 straight games versus the NFC last year. He had an interception, including that playoff game versus Green Bay that they lost. And he had 10 interceptions overall all last year versus the NFC. So he's playing the Saints today. I believe the Saints defense is good enough to keep Dak Prescott, contained. They want to run the ball, and I believe the Saints will stop the run and make Dak Prescott beat them through the air. And if they give those attempts to Dak Prescott, I know a couple of those attempts, he's probably going to thread the needle and probably take a chance, and he may get an interception. So that's my second honorable mention. Dak Prescott over half an interception versus the New Orleans Saints. All right, let's get into the picks. First up, ladies and gentlemen, we have Kyren Williams over 16.5 rush attempts versus the Arizona Cardinals today. For the main reason, Sean McVay, since he's been the coach of the Rams, he has owned the Arizona Cardinals, ladies and gentlemen. He's 13-2 against the spread versus Arizona in the 15 games he's coached. They've won and covered 8 straight games in Arizona. And Kyren Williams, he had 20 attempts, 158 yards and a touchdown, and he had 16 attempts, 143 yards the last 2 times he's played the Arizona Cardinals. And not to mention, the Cardinals, they allowed 14 out of the 17 running backs last year to hit this over 16.5 rush attempts. So we already know Arizona Cardinals, their defense is very vulnerable. They give up points, and you can run on their defense. And I believe that the Rams are going to probably establish the run today. simply because Matt Stafford is down, some receivers, some injuries they're dealing with on the offensive side. So I believe Kyren Williams is going to have a lot of uses today. And Matt Stafford's not really going to be able, he doesn't really have to be effective through the air, considering how vulnerable Arizona defense is. They give up about 30 points a game. So until they can show me that they can stop these teams from scoring on them, I'm going to continue to take props against them. And Kyren Williams is an excellent piece today. I believe he runs the ball effectively. He should get a touchdown today. I'm going to take that full disclosure. But I'm going to focus on today. First prop bet, Kyren Williams from the LA Rams over 16.5 rush attempts versus the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, Snizzle. I know you like that Kyren look. He's going to run on the Cardinals today. For sure. He has great history versus this team. So that's why he's on my list. All right. Next one up. We got Ramondre Stevenson. Anytime touchdown versus the Seattle Seahawks today. Simply because Seattle's defense give up a lot of points on the rushing side of the ball. They give up a lot of rushing yards, and the fact that the Broncos played them tough last week, even though they were dealing with a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. Seattle only got into the red zone one time versus Denver last week. So Denver played them tough. It came down the stretch, and they still scored 20 points on them. And even Bo Nix had a rushing touchdown in that game. It was late. Probably didn't, it was a garbage time touchdown, but hey, he cashed it. So we're going to go to Ramon Stevenson today against the Seattle vulnerable defense because I believe he will get a touchdown. He had a touchdown last week versus the Bengals, and I believe that the Patriots will establish the run game. Kobe Brissett, he doesn't turn the ball over. The Patriots are going to play smash mouth football versus Seattle that's coming across West Coast to play an early start. So I believe their timing is off, and I believe the Patriots can take advantage of that, and we can cash that Ramondre Stevenson anytime touchdown versus the Seattle Seahawks. All right, let's go to this one. We have the LA Chargers taking on who we got? Who they got? The Panthers. That's who they got. They're on the road taking on the Carolina Panthers. And we're going to go 2 on this one because any one of these guys can catch this touchdown. Both of these guys can catch these touchdowns today simply because Carolina is the worst rush defense in the league and giving up rushing touchdowns. 27 rushing touchdowns to the running back since 2023, going back to last year, which is most in the NFL. Alvin Kamara had a touchdown last week, and Jamal Williams had a touchdown last week with the Saints on Carolina. So I don't see any reason it doesn't be the same today. Just Gus Edwards, he can run the ball. He gets possessions last week. And J.K. Dobbins, who had a touchdown last week. Harbaugh's there now. He's playing smash mouth football. He's going to run the ball. He's not going to let Justin Herbert take a lot of pass attempts. He's just going to use him in short yardage to get first downs. But going down the field, keeping their drives alive, Jim Harbaugh has established the fact that he is going to run the ball, and he has 2 backs in that backfield that could get him production today. Carolina's one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league. Feel sorry for Bryce Young. He got into a situation where it's not his fault. It's a lot of turnover. He has a new coach again this year. So it's going to take some time for Carolina to get this offense going. But today, we're going to either cash one of these guys or we're going to cash both of these guys. So even if you take both, if one cash, you still come out positive, profit. So, hey, let's take a chance and take 2 of them. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, anytime touchdown for the LA Chargers. All right, let's go to this one, guys. We have the New York Jets going out to the Tennessee Titans to take on these Titans. Jets coming off a tough loss versus the 49ers last week. And the Titans are coming off a loss that they should have won versus the Chicago Bears. They just gave up a lot, gave up an interception return, for a touchdown late in the game. Block punt return for a touchdown. So, but offensive-wise, the Bears didn't do anything, and I'm going to get to that when we get to my next prop. But other than that, I believe this is going to be a smash mouth game as well. I believe both teams are going to try to run the ball and establish the line of scrimmage on both sides. And I believe it's going to be some field goal kicking in this game. And when we're looking at field goals, I'm going to go to the Jets side, and I'm going to take Greg Zuerlein over 1.5 field goals. And this is the simply reason why, and there's nothing else to be said with this prop. The Tennessee Titans have allowed over 1.5 field goals, at least 1.5 field goals, to the opposing field goal kicker 19 out of their last 21 games, going back to the last game of 2022. This is a trend that is just remarkable, and it's going to keep cashing. I'm going to keep taking this prop against the Tennessee Titans until they show us that they can stop these field goal kickers from getting field goals. Now, it seems to me that it's hard to score on Tennessee in the red zone. They keep you out of the end zone. But those field goal kickers, they can get those points, and I guess Tennessee is cool with giving up 3 points opposed to 7. So, hey, as long as they keep doing that, their defense is good enough to stop the Jets from scoring touchdowns on them because Aaron Rodgers, he's still Tennessee with that coming off that Achilles injury, so he's not taking a lot of chances. So he's probably just going to hand the ball to Breece Hall, do little bubble screens, run plays and things like that, just to get the offense going. But if they stall out in the red zone, they're going to go to their kicker, Greg Zuerlein. And we're going to take the over 1.5 field goals today because, like I mentioned, Tennessee gives up the most field goals to the opposing field goal kicker. So until they show us that they can stop this, we're going to take this prop every single week. The opposing kicker versus the Tennessee Titans. All right, let's move on to this one. We going down here, man. You see it in the background, NRG Stadium tonight, Sunday Night Football. We got the Chicago Bears coming down to my home team. I will be at the game, full disclosure, taking on the Houston Texans, representing right here. And I'm looking at my man Joe Mixon, over 2.5 receptions, simply because the Chicago Bears, they give up a lot of receptions to the running back. They give up the second most receiving yards to the running back. And the fact that we can run the ball now, establish the run game, I believe that the Bears are going to try to bring the pressure to C.J. Stroud to get him, uncomfortable in the pocket. And Joe Mixon can, ease his way out of the backfield and be there to catch a screen pass, catch a couple, passes from C.J. Stroud, because the pass rush is coming. And he can get some yardage in this game, running or catching the ball. And I believe that 3 receptions is a good prop, good bet for Joe Mixon to cash today. He averaged 3 receptions last year with the Bengals. So there's no reason why he can't get this today because I believe the Bears are going to try to get the pass rush going. They led the league in quarterback hits last year, and they're going to try to get at C.J. Stroud to make him uncomfortable because if you keep him in that pocket, he's going to pick apart your secondary. So that's how the Bears are going to try to establish that. Strong defense, get the pass rush, but if they miss him, I believe Joe Mixon will be right there to bail C.J. Stroud out, to get a reception, and get some good yardage down the field. So that's my 5 right there. Joe Mixon, over 2.5 receptions for the Texans. Now, I'm going to throw a bonus out there for y'all. Hold on, let's get to some comments. We got Nasty Nate in the building. I need LjFromHtown, Big Dog. What's going on, Nasty Nate? Hey, I'm with you today, Nasty. I'm on the Patriots, full disclosure. I don't even want the points. I got the money line today. I believe they take care of business versus the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm right there in the passenger seat with you. I'm riding with you today, Nasty Nate. Patriots money line. Let's get it. All right, guys. Last one. I'm going to throw a bonus one out there. How about we do an anytime touchdown 3-player parlay? We got Jahmyr Gibbs. We got Brian Robinson Jr. And we got Isaiah Pacheco. Simply because Jahmyr Gibbs, he's playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers give up a lot of receiving yards to the receivers and backs. And Jahmyr Gibbs, he's an excellent dual threat for Jared Goff. He can catch out the backfield. He can run between the tackles. So when he get into that red zone, he's looking for Jahmyr Gibbs to catch. He's very speedy, so his speed is hard to deal with, especially when he gets into the open field. So I believe Jahmyr Gibbs will have a perfect chance today, couple opportunities to get that anytime touchdown. And we move to Brian Robinson Jr. for the Washington Commanders. He's playing the New York Giants today. And we know how horrible the Giants defense is. And the fact that they give up a lot of yards to the running back as well. I'm going to look at Brian Robinson Jr. today. He got a touchdown last week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Giants have let the running back cash a touchdown 13 out of their last 18 games going back to last season. So I believe this is a perfect opportunity for him to get a touchdown today versus the Giants. I see a lot of points in this game because these both teams got history of going over. So let's take Brian Robinson Jr. today for Washington to catch a touchdown versus the New York Giants. And last but not least, Isaiah Pacheco for the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Bengals. He also has great history versus this Bengals. You know, he's averaging 14 attempts, 74 yards on the ground. And 2 out of the last 3 games he's played the Cincinnati Bengals, he's cashed the touchdown. So I believe Mahomes is going to be using Pacheco a lot today out of the backfield as well as running between the tackles. Because like I mentioned, all 3 of these running backs are potential dual threats. They can run between the tackles and get you a touchdown in the red zone, or they can come out of the backfield with a receiving catch and get you a touchdown. So I believe all 3 of these guys are on the list today to cash a touchdown. Not to mention, all 3 of these guys cashed a touchdown in week 1 last week. So those are my plays, guys. We'll do a nice little recap. We have Kyren Williams over 16.5 rush attempts versus the Arizona Cardinals. We have Joe Mixon over 2.5 receptions versus the Chicago Bears tonight, Sunday Night Football. We have Ramon Stevenson, anytime touchdown versus the Seattle's defense. Like I mentioned, they're very vulnerable. They give up touchdowns. And 13 straight games, the Seattle Seahawks has given up a rushing touchdown to either the running back or the quarterback. Like I mentioned last week, Bo Nix cashed the touchdown versus this team. So 13 straight games, ladies and gentlemen, the Seattle Seahawks has allowed a touchdown to either the running back or the quarterback. So I believe Ramon Stevenson is great play today. We also have J.K. Dobbins and we have Gus Edwards for the LA Chargers to catch a touchdown today versus the Carolina Panthers, simply because Carolina gives up 15 out of the last 18 games. The Carolina Panthers have given up a rushing touchdown to the running back. Both of these players are capable to catch this today. So if I don't get one, I should get the other, and we will still come out profitable. Last but not least, we have Greg Zuerlein over 1.5 field goals. This is one of the best props that I've been taking ever since going back to last year, simply because the Tennessee Titans have allowed the opposing field goal kicker 2+ field goals 19 out of their last 21 games going back to 2022. So Greg Zuerlein should have plenty of opportunities today to get this over 1.5 field goals, and we cash just like that. We did good last week, guys. We went 7-1 on props last week, so we're starting off the year very good. Let's keep this momentum going. So until next time, everybody that's showing support, man, keep showing support. Go like, go subscribe, go share the video. Let everybody know all the money that's potentially to be made today. Let's enjoy this NFL week 2, guys. And once again, I will be back next Sunday with some more props so we continue to cash. And until next time, I'm LJ from H-Town. And always, like I say, let's keep cashing.
Yeah, R-A-W. Words being served, no concern and no trouble to get that dough. Money on my mind, if it's money all the time, we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and vets, inject cash in your pockets.